This is the Domonate Podcast. My name is Dominique Talbert, and I'm loving the experience of what life has given to me after getting my degree, because the experience has just been that, a life struggle. You would think after getting your degree, everything would be mapped out. You have that little piece of paper that says, I made it, I've achieved something, I should be able to step out there in this big thing called life and just be successful. That's not how it works. And that's not how it worked for me. And I'm pretty sure so many of you guys are either going to A, experience this, or B, you're in my boat, or C, you're caught up somewhere in depression that you're just laying down somewhere crying and asking yourself, why? Why are things going the way that they're going? And I'm going to tell you why. It's because that piece of paper doesn't really matter. I know why people say that now. I was that person that believed, man, I'm going to get out of high school. I'm going to go get my degree. I'm going to get the dream job. I'm going to marry this prince. I might even start a business, or I might work for somebody. Who knows? But I'm going to make bank on top of bank on top of bank. And that's not what happened. So after I got my degree, I found myself in a dilemma saying, okay, what jobs do I go and apply for? Where do I go? My degree was in production and in media and television and film, that aspect of it. So I said, I can go anywhere. I went to a private school. I made it. I am that person. I am that person. I am the big fish. Everybody look at me because I'm about to become something and be something grand and great. Because I'm me. That's what I'm going to do. In the back of my mind and in the forefront of my mind, in my whole mind, that's what I thought having a degree meant. I applied for a job. I got denied. I applied for another job. I got denied. And I kept applying for these jobs, and I kept getting knocked down, and I kept getting denied. And I looked at myself and I said, well, maybe it's my resume. I hit up my school, the career advisor, and I said, check my resume out. Is there anything wrong with it? No, your resume looks solid. It looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Check out my reel. How does my reel look? Your reel looks solid. It looks pretty good. Your content is great. Okay, what's going on? Right now there's a big stream of media going on. Everybody's looking at this dominance of how black portrayal is. That's what I want to do. How come no one wants me? I stopped. And I started applying for more jobs and more jobs and more jobs and more jobs. And I kept getting denied. And then the little jobs that I were getting that were in media, I felt like, man, this is a little bit below me. I'm making like the amount of money I was making when I was in school. If not, sometimes even less. I started to get a little depressed. I ain't gonna lie. I started to get more than a little bit depressed. I started to get a lot of bit depressed. Then I started getting this anxious feeling in me that said, oh God, what am I doing wrong? I really felt like, is it me? What are you testing me with? What is going on? So then I stopped. I started to breathe. And I started to spaz out because I had this thought in my mind that everything should happen now. I have the degree. I have this piece of paper that says I'm certified. I have this piece of paper that says I'm qualified. I have this piece of paper that should validate me. And it didn't. It really didn't. So I took a job at a retail store. And as I'm at this retail store, I'm just looking at everybody and I'm just like, what the hell am I doing here? Don't get me wrong, I appreciated the time I had there. And I was having so much fun meeting new people and actually even picking up little things from my media. Like, okay, if I ever have a character, it's going to be like you. It's going to be like you. Because that's all the life experience is about. It's just making those characters. But I wasn't doing what I wanted to do and what I love to do. So I became depressed. Or if you sing Get Out, I got in the sunken place. I was there. I was in the sunken place. I had to get out of that mindset. I got up and I just started looking through everybody that I inspired to be like. I started saying, okay, how can I get like them? I started comparing myself to people on social media, to people I don't even know, and to people that had the lifestyle set up for them to be successful. But I didn't. And I said, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. But what was wrong with me is I was wasting my own time. I wasn't creating. I wasn't doing those things that I was doing in college that made me feel like I was on cloud nine. I got caught up in the compare game. I got caught up in the I should be like this person and being envious of the people I was seeing on social media, because we all know social media is what, a big old social lie. You put your stuff up on social media to make it feel like you have that lifestyle and that settings to attract that lifestyle. I know these things. So what the hell was I doing? I sat back, I started to get myself out of my funk, and I said, create something. Create, create, create. Create and get embarrassed. Create and fail. Create and let somebody tell you your stuff sucks. Create and learn. Create and let somebody tell you your stuff is good, but keep creating. I still have not found my dream job yet, but one thing I know that piece of paper does invalidate, especially if you're getting your degree in the arts. That sucks so much. When you see people on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, even sometimes even Twitch, because I'm a gamer. Shout out to all my nerds out there. You see people that just up and pop up and say, I want to do media. I want to take photos. I want to do video. They have not the experience that you have, and they started soaring past you. And you have experience, and then you're looking at their stuff and you're tearing it and you're ripping it apart because you're like, that looks wrong, that looks wrong, that looks wrong, but they're getting the clients. They're out there getting paid for bad content. And you know your stuff is good and no one's even giving you 20 likes on a photo. But instead of comparing myself to them, I look at them. They're branding themselves. They're marketing. They're creating this business aesthetic of themselves while I'm sitting over here cyber hating. So what the meaning of this is, when you have a degree, especially in the arts, it's all about getting up and getting your shit done. We just gonna call it like it is. Get your shit done. Start having people come to you. Don't necessarily always knock on a door for opportunity. Create your own opportunity. That's what I learned in my struggle of having this piece of paper that, yes, on a piece of paper, this piece of paper looks really good. Because think about it. All I did was get a degree to put this piece of paper on my resume and say, look at me, I'm qualified. Look at me, I can get that job. But did I get my dream job? No. Actually, I think somebody recently on my Instagram who I knew in grade school became Instagram famous and started getting the dream jobs that I wish to have gotten, and not a bit of school. Because in school, you have these boundaries of people that tell you what to do. They give you this syllabus, right? And in your syllabus, you're being told, you got to do this by this date. You got to work with these people. You're set up with all these connections to work with. You have unlimited supplies. Like for me, I make film. So you have tools to make film. You can go and rent out a space somewhere downtown and shoot amazing content. But you're not realizing outside of the real world of their protection, this stuff costs money. It's a budget that you need. And I just told you I'm working at a retail store. Retail stores don't pay for those kind of budgets. So what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do to get back to that goal? And I think that's what school doesn't set you up for. They don't set you up for real life experiences. They tell you about it. They tell you need to budget. They tell you need a team of people. They tell you this is how much it's going to cost to make this film that you're looking at. This is how much it's going to cost to make this sitcom or to write this. This is how much these programs cost. They tell you those things. They even tell you got to stay knowledgeable on technology and to keep up with the trends of things. But what they don't tell you is that your real life and your real life settings suck. And they don't tell you how to make business plans work. They really don't. I think we had 1 or 2 courses in that. And I think throughout the whole course at my private institution that I went to, we watched a very good movie on it. And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. But when you're knocked on your ass and you're put in those positions, you're like, yikes, what do I do? So I'm starting from the level up. And I want you guys to go through this with me. Because at first, for a long time, I was very fearful to admit my truth. The truth of the matter is, being outside of those institutional walls, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I know I'm not going to be the only one like this with a degree. So hopefully I can help somebody while I'm helping myself. Help you, help me, help us, kind of a sense or deal. Secondly, I'm very fearful of failing. I know so many of us are. We put the pressure on us by looking at other people and saying, we got to keep up with the Joneses. But I don't even think the Joneses are keeping up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are looking at somebody else and trying to keep up with them. And that person is looking at somebody else and trying to keep up with them. So in a sense of it is, we're all looking at somebody trying to keep up with somebody. So you got to have the mindset that you're only in competition with yourself. That's the only person you're in competition with. Once you break down those barriers, it becomes a little bit easier to create your passion. Then you got to look at branding. What the hell are you putting out there in the world? Who are you? What is your brand? What is your focus? That takes a little bit of time. You got to start isolating yourself from people and from distractions and really focus in on that. That's where I am right now. And that's with that little piece of paper in my hand. A very expensive piece of paper, because I came from a private institution. So, thank you for being a part of this shameless, fearless, and encouraging journey with me. Let's see where this goes. And might I tell you as well too, I'm scared as hell. I'm very fearful of the outcome. But what I'm looking forward to is the journey of getting to where I have to go. And I'm willing to put the time and the work into that. Are you too? You willing to put some time into yourself? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that while you're obtaining your degree. Ask yourself that while you're going for your goal, or you're getting certified, or you're sitting on your couch playing a video game, watching TV. Ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work? All right, y'all. Other than that, I have nothing to rant about. This is DomoNation, aka Domonate Podcast, and I'm dominating your ears today. I'm going to get on out of here, and I'm going to go work on my stuff. Who else is working on their things too? Do you guys think a degree is worthless? Let me know in the description box below. If not, if you think your degree did just what it did for you, let us know how you took the steps to get to where you had to go. Peace, and I'm out. Hold on, you guys. It's not over just yet. I want to hear what other people have to say about their degree. Where are they at now, and where did their degree get them? Yeah, this is kind of like the unbiased part of my podcast, so you don't have to hear me rant all day. Because we all know the streets be talking, so let's see what people have to say. Hey you guys, I have some special guests today. I have Jessica with Mad Panda Lab and also Asia and V Amber, and they are part of a group called Good Luck Gamers, I want to say. Is that what it is?
Yes.
And what else do you guys have going on?
We have our own comic that we work on together. It's called Project Hanasu.
Nice. Anything you want to say?
No. Not yet.
What about you, Jessica? What's going on?
Currently, at this moment, I am DPing a short film, and I am also still running with my crew, Mad Panda Lab.
Come on, Mad Panda. Alrighty. Well, those are the plugs. Yes, plug. Yes, drop plug. Anyway, so if you guys live in the Chicagoland area and you guys need some people that are DPs, writers, or comics or illustration, hit these lovely people up. Well, one for each one. But anyway, let's jump right into this. So, I just previously got done talking about how I feel like it just sucks to have a degree and to be jobless. And jobless meaning I'm not where I thought I would be with my degree. And I really wanted to hear from somebody else. What do you guys think, and what did your degree do for you? Jessica and V Amber, what did your degree do for you?
My degree was in archaeology and English and creative writing. Right now, I am working as a park ranger, and so I'm not really working with my English creative writing degree, but I am working with sort of my archaeology degree.
So you ended up getting 2 degrees?
Yeah, I double majored in college.
Oh, she had the finances to do that. I wanted to double major, but I did not have that finance. No, not from the private school I went to. I'd be stripping right now. What about you, Jessica?
I think ultimately going to college, the film program that I went to, it sort of introduced me to the world of cinema and the film industry. It was a very tip of the iceberg program, an undergraduate program, where it kind of taught me about every department that is involved with cinema. So I got a little taste of editing, got a little taste of visual effects, sound, lighting, just everything, but like just enough to get the basics, but not dive deep into it. So more than anything, I think that's what I gained from going to college.
So your degree is mainly like post-productions, or did you focus in editing at the time?
It was all across the board, literally, from communications to media 101. So I've worked behind the camera, and then I would take the same footage and learn about post in another class. So, yeah.
Nice. What about you, Asia?
So I got my degree in illustration, so I have a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree. I kind of wanted to go more towards, like, I think I wanted to be more involved in, like, animated films and stuff like that, but right now I'm kind of diving into more of the comics aspect of the industry, which is just a little bit harder. I think they're both equally hard to get into, but that's where I'm kind of standing right now, so I'm kind of, like, stuck in retail hell until I actually find the job that I need and want.
Retail hell. So that actually is the job I just got done quitting, which is funny because in my previous portion of my podcast, I said that I worked in retail. Not anymore. So after getting my degree, I ended up taking a job in retail. What about the rest of you guys? Are y'all in y'all field at all? Anybody here?
I work at a camera rental house, so it's in the neighborhood, as I like to say.
So you're in your neighborhood, okay.
Right.
And you said you were
A park ranger. I do a lot of tours. I do a lot of interpretive work. So I'm sort of in my field. I'm sort of working with my archaeology degree, but I'm not working with my English and creative writing degree.
So basically, like what I'm getting and gaining from everybody is that literally everybody is doing something, either ballpark in their field. So you guys are in the neighborhood and we're just in the ghettos because we're in retail. And well, you're in retail because that ish had to go. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, y'all. I tried it. I did my best. I did not overcome. So that's pretty much it. So I'm doing like a lot of freelance work right now. And that is the roughest thing to do in film. Because I don't know what it is about y'all in Chicago. But some of y'all don't want to pay. And if y'all don't want to pay, like we just got done talking about how people go off of like a little bit of a, I'll pay you this, but it's not always the amount that you need, or it's not always the amount that you deserve, or hey, I got you kind of later kind of mentality, or that I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. And you know, like, no offense, but my school wasn't cheap. I got to start paying back my loans next year, and I think I'm 70 grand in the hole. So I can't be working off of these niceties, but it's like the meat and potatoes of it, because it's the pleasure of what you like doing, but it's also like, man, I want to get paid for this stuff. And I think that's the difficulty of having like the fine arts degree, right? I wanted to ask you guys right now, if you're not in your field, how do you plan on getting into it? Like for you, Asia, you keep saying that, you know, you're in retail. How do you plan on like tapping into your field right now?
On the side, I kind of do like conventions and stuff like that. So I'm actually trying to jump into my field now, as opposed to when I was doing stuff like 2 years back. Like I had a kind of an art-ish job. I kind of did like the wine and painting parties. So that was like closer to my field than the other stuff that I'm doing like right now. But like I said, conventions are helping me get more exposure. The comic project that I'm working on with V over here, that's kind of bringing up our exposure too. And so like I'm getting more freelance work, but like you said, getting freelance work is like a struggle because you don't know if it's like gonna be hot or if it's gonna be cold. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's a rough little patch that I'm in right now. So hopefully all the conventions and stuff will actually bring me closer to my goals. But we shall see about that in the upcoming future, right?
That hurts. You know, it's just like, it really hurts. Like when you have that piece of paper that's supposed to validate you, and you have the mindset before you go on to school saying that if you get this piece of paper, your life is set, because that's the idea that's put out through there in media, which is one of the reasons why I love studying media, is because you gain all these false ideas, but when you're in the reality of it is, half those ideas are not the truth. The truth. It is not the truth. Like for you, Jessica, what was your goal? Like, what did you want to do? Because you did say you're in a rental house right now. What is it that you're really passionate about?
Ultimately, I want to be a director of photography. That's sort of the end game for me. Or so I imagine it to be at this moment. It could change because I hear that happens a lot. But as of right now, definitely director of photography.
Nice. What are you doing to go about that right now?
So currently I'm looking into joining the Local 600, which what that is the union for the camera department. And so there's a lot that's required with joining the union. You have to log hundreds of hours on set, in addition to paying a hefty fee, which is your dues. So I'm sort of working my way up that ladder, logging hours, and just continuing to gain that experience that I need to sort of be on set more.
Is it easy to gain that experience right now?
At this moment, no. Because you're hitting this wall of working a 9-to-5, and that demands half, if not more than half, of your time. So by the time you do get some time to yourself, you're fatigued, you're tired. So then you have to sort of either trade in sleep or trade in what you love to do. Like it kind of has to be one or the other, because when it's not, you get a little loopy. And it ultimately deteriorates both your health and your work. So it sucks.
And that's really hard, because I was interning, and then I was also working on set projects, and I had my little retail job at the time. And even working the retail job and trying to intern and also trying to find time to be on set, like you and I both know, sometimes you're on set for 10, 12 hours, depending on who you're on set with.
Easily.
Yeah, and it's never short, and it's just like the hardest thing in the world. And I feel like that's something school didn't teach us. Like, did school teach you that sometimes you would have to be out there hustling in conventions, or you'd have to create your own content? Or did you feel like you would have a proper setup once you got your degree and your jobs would flow easy?
That's a hard question. I think that for the school that I attended, it was more easier to get a degree, no, not a degree, but a job doing more like graphic design and stuff like that. There were people there that specifically targeted towards graphic design. I wasn't one of those people. Like, I don't find it that interesting to me. I think I knew from the get-go that for me personally, it was going to be a little bit harder, because illustration, you're just kind of just drawing pictures. That's what I like to do. I like drawing pictures. But there's just like several different branches of it. Like, I wanted to do character designs is what I fell in love with. I wanted to be more behind the scenes of like films, but I don't know if I'm still going to get that or not. I don't know if I have to look somewhere across the country because of what my style is actually more tailored to. I'm kind of fighting the system of America and the animation industry right now. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, guys. Yeah, it's everybody that is more towards graphic design or does something like more niche. Because like there's a person that graduated from my school. She draws Etch-a-Sketches. Like, she can make pictures on Etch-a-Sketches. She's amazing. She's awesome. But like, she makes big money because that's something that no one else could do, period. There's cases like that, and then there's me.
And then there's me, who looks at this person from a distance and is like, why isn't that me?
But like, she's cool beats. She's awesome.
It's all about who you kind of know as well too, and what's your niche, what's your brand. And like, I don't feel like they teach you that when you're in school. I feel like they teach you the foundation steps of what you need to do, but I don't feel like they give you the reality of it's all in who you know. It's all about your brand. It's all about how you stick out. Because what's painful for me is that you could jump on Instagram and you see somebody that started a year ago doing what you went to school for and is getting way more clout, and yet you still have the skill sets and you're not even getting like 10, 20 likes on a photo. That is one of the most painful things in the world. Like, I know your cousin, not saying he's garbage, because your cousin is actually really cold with his photography. He's really good. And then I've seen people bite his style. I've seen them bite this, I I forget it's another photographer, it's like Wolf something, who does like all the Bokeh kind of effects and stuff and plays with lights and stuff on people. I've seen people bite that style and they just get all this clout from doing that. And they don't realize like the time, the skill set that you put into that. And it's like you just become a little bit of like, I want to say like a fine arts hater in a sense of a way. And it really bothers me. And it makes me think like, is getting a degree really worth it? What do you think, Amber?
I think for me, getting my degree was worth it at least. I met a lot of people at my school that have helped me to get to where I am now. They helped me get the job that I have right now. I have a professor that I still keep in contact with. I have friends who are working in the same field that I am that continue to support me and help me through whatever I need to get through. So for me personally, it was worth it.
So you're using your degree mainly for networking right now?
Yeah, I would actually say that. But I think it was more about those connections, like kind of what you were saying earlier, and also the experiences and internships that I was able to get through that school as well. But nothing like a classroom setting sort of thing was the big worth it out of it. So,
what about you, Jessica? Like, do you think a degree was really worth it for you, especially when you're meeting people on set that may not have that piece of paper that says I'm qualified? How do you feel?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that me getting a degree is all gone in vain. I would say this. If you're in school right now for being in the film industry, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the people that you meet when you're in school, because those are your peers. Those are people that can work on your project. Those are the people that are on the same level as you, so you have great access to them. And then take, of course, advantage of the gear and the equipment. You know, start working on your portfolio reel, because that honestly is sort of the degree, and I'm putting up quotation marks. I know y'all can't see me.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're like, she all over the mic, degree.
The quote unquote degree that's that sort of tangible piece that you need to present to potential employers, or for the film industry's sake, the directors or the people that are going to bring you on board. They're going to want to see your reel, not your degree, unfortunately. So I would say in that aspect, you know, school is not a total waste. Just use these resources to sort of, you know, propel yourself forward, because it gets a lot harder when you get out of school to get that same access. It ain't free no more, you know?
Yeah, that's true, especially when you look at the fact of I pay this loan and I'm able to get these resources. Or I come out of pocket and I go get these resources and then eventually hope to maybe gain connections on set with people that will want to work with me later, or learning stuff off of YouTube, because YouTube is the plug. I ain't gonna lie, we ain't about to sit up here and act like YouTube is not the plug sometimes. But it is something about like sitting in that settings and meeting people. But I do have to say, like, I'm teeter-totter on the idea of a degree being worthless, because I know I've discussed with you before. Now, if you're a doctor, I don't want you to, you know, be up in the alley somewhere saying you got your degree, or you didn't pay $25 for a course and now you feel like you can operate on me. That ain't happening. Like, I need you to have a degree of some sort. No, not even of some sort. I need you to have a degree, okay? And I need you to be an A student as a doctor. I don't want no B doctor, no C doctor. I damn sure don't want no D or F doctor working on me, you know, because that is just unacceptable. But when it comes down to the arts, I feel like it's just like that bit of a gamble. All in the people that you know, your resources, like you said, and what you're doing. Because with me, like, I was able to shoot a whole documentary because I looked at myself and I said, oh man, I was a transfer student. So those people at that private institution, they were already heavily advanced. And I'm sitting up here like, man, I need to do something. So my last year I spent shooting like everything that had to do with my documentary. I was like scratching tooth and nail to keep up with my classes. But it looks better on my resume than sitting up here saying I did all these group projects. So I get you on that. But I'm teeter-tottering because I have to ask myself, do I want to own a company or a production company? Or do I want to be a director, do freelances, or try to get into the guild? And it also has to do something like where your environment is, like where we're at right now. I feel like I would do better if I went to California, maybe even Seattle, or maybe even Vancouver. It's limited. But more than that, I just wanted to ask you guys, what advice would you give to somebody that's trying to get a degree right now? Like, do you tell them to go to school? Do you tell them to work on their resume? Do you tell them don't do it, just hit the ground running? Because that does work for some people. So what do you tell a person that's seeking their degree in the fine arts right now?
So I think that if you are going into the arts specifically, that I would like you. I think you mentioned it earlier, Jessica, that you should take advantage of all the resources that you have, and don't be like me where you take on too much that you can actually do. Because my last year was dreadful because I took storyboarding, I had concept art, and I had portfolio. So if you're gonna do classes, please be smart about it, guys. Yeah, just take advantage of the resources. Actually, really work on your portfolio often. Make sure that you're putting the best stuff out there because they're going to be looking for people that they consider to be the best. And if you're doing your portfolio, make it towards the company you actually want to be a part of, so that you can actually get noticed. And the art is kind of scary, but if you think that's something that you can actually, do, don't shy away from it. Don't let all the loading stories scare you because, if I didn't have my degree, if I didn't go to school, period, I don't think I'd be, where I am today artistically. I'm self-driven, but not as self-driven as I should be. School was really beneficial for me as a person. I'm still drawing, so you're going to keep getting better every time you work on your craft.
Also about the loan part, I always tell people don't be scared of no loan because you're going to go in debt somewhere. What a lot of people don't know is some of these loans fall off your credit after 7 years. So if you can wing it for 7 years, they fall completely off your credit. It's when you take out federal loans that don't fall off your credit. And even then you can defer that down and do a whole bunch of finessing.
So I have two avenues as far as advice and going to school. So the first one is, if you're fresh out of high school and thinking about pursuing college and you get accepted and you're well on your way into going to college, pay close attention to the theory of what you're learning. Because it's not always all about the gadgets and the gear. You'll be better and grow more as an artist if you focused on the theory. Why do people shoot the way they shoot? Who are the greats? Who have set the standards of cinema? Learn about them rather than what the hottest camera is. Because we live in a day and age where 5 years from now, the camera that we are drooling over will be nothing more than a boat anchor.
Yeah.
It'll be completely useless. However, the theory is timeless. We still admire the way Hitchcock directs. You know what I'm saying? Roger Deakins is still an amazing artist. And figure out the why. That's important. Not so much always the how, but the why we do what we do. And that'll set you apart from just any other filmmaker. So that's for the people who are going to college. But then that also applies to people who don't have the means or the funds to go to college. You can still absolutely do this. You don't need to go to college. And, this coming from me, the person who actually went to college, you don't need it. Again, these resources to learn why the greats are as good as they are. You can learn that on YouTube, like you just said.
Free.com.
For the free.
Yes, for the free.
Or ultimately get on set. That's how you're going to learn faster than any other means of education and filmmaking. Get on set. My homie Brian, which is my film partner in Mad Panda Lab, he said if you were pursuing martial arts, you wouldn't read a book to learn how to fight. You would actually get in the gym and you would fight. And that's how you would learn the quickest. Same with cooking. You could read recipes all day, but you're not about to be a chef, if you know a recipe verbatim. The key is to get on set, to get your hands-on experience, and to just meet the right people that can take you under the wing and teach you firsthand.
Yeah, because even with film, you can learn a camera, and then when you get into your internship or whatever the case, I saw this a lot. This is a lot of kids, especially when I was in my intern, and a little bit of myself as well too, if I'm gonna put myself out there. We learn off of specific cameras, and then when you get in your intern, they're working on this camera, and that, and they want you to know how to do it, and you don't know what you're doing. So someone recently just told me it's not about learning, it's about comprehending. it's like a foolish thing to learn something, but it's better to comprehend. Like, can you articulate and explain this back to me, and why, where, and how it became about? So that's another tool of the whys I would say taking forward. Another thing is, be that person that's always a bit available. Say yes. Don't say yes to where it stresses you out and you can't do it, but something about that person that, hey, can you be a part of this project? Yeah, sure. Hey, can you be a part of this project? Yeah, sure. People are going to depend on you more and want you to be on a little bit of everything. So when you get out of school, you have way more connections. You have more people that's going to call on you because they know they can depend on you. Number 2, everything you learn from college, kind of throw that out the window when it comes to how to successfully do something, especially if you are in film. That stuff does not matter, because when you get on set, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Stepping blocks that will help you, but there's nothing like just everything going wrong, right? So you have to know how to wing it. And institutions don't teach you that. They teach you guidelines, and a lot of people spaz out when they don't know what to do. So you have to have that cat-like mentality that says, I know how to get back on my feet and figure it out. And that goes back to like what Jessica was saying when she said that you've got to know whys, the wheres, and what came about, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be that cocky person that says, I got it, and then you really don't. Because there's nothing worse than working with somebody that thinks they know it all. Number 3 or 4, whatever I'm on, have the personality. I rather work on a project, and it doesn't matter if it's film, if it's art related, if it's cooking, if it's rap battles or whatever. I'd rather work on something with somebody with a great personality than work on something with somebody that knows how to do it with a terrible personality. There is nothing worse than working on something with somebody that just has the most arrogant, terrible kind of personality. I'd rather figure it out myself. Have a good attitude and just be willing to learn. So it's all about what you do. If you don't have the means to go to college, finesse and figure it out and hustle, because standing still won't get you nowhere. What about you, Viamba? You got any words for the wise?
I would also say to take advantage of the internships and sort of real world hands-on experience. For instance, I worked at the state archaeologist's office. When people look at my resume, they're looking at the fact that I actually had my hands on washing artifacts, doing archaeological office paperwork and stuff like that. That's really what people are looking at on your resumes when you graduate. They're not looking at particularly your degree or even your GPA. They're looking at what you can do.
So you're saying to just basically do every bit of an intern, because I've learned that you can't just do 1 or 2 internships. You really need to have a handful. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good idea to diversify the types of internships you're doing too. Always related to what you want to do as much as you can.
Yeah, how many internships did you have in college?
None.
Beautiful. How many internships did you have, Jessica?
1.
You only had 1 internship, for real?
Yeah.
Wow, you a beast. That's a plug for Jessica. Wow. I had a couple. My school made it seem like you needed to have 50 million, internships. So I did a couple, and then even after graduating, I did a couple of internships. But I'm saying this now, once I drop my documentary, them internships is dead. That ain't happening no more. Unless you like a multi-million-dollar production. I ain't gonna be interning for nobody. Not getting nobody no glass of water. No Dunkin' Donuts. No putting up nothing. It ain't happening. Yeah, and don't be afraid to work for free. It happens. It happens to everybody. Don't be afraid, because I work off of connections. So if I'm working with you for something, you're going to be able to scratch my back later, and you're going to be able to help me with something later. And I make that very well known, especially in the field that I'm in, because a lot of people do not have the budget. We were just talking about like how some people think coming to a set with no budget is a budget. And it can work. Don't laugh, Jessica. It can work.
It can't.
Yeah, like it can't.
It cannot. It cannot.
Oh my God. She was like making me die right now. Because it happens so much. People come to you and want these like stellar films. with $0. Or my favorite one is like people come to you and they're like, yo, do you know any students that can get us this equipment? Oh my God.
All right, so here's my thing about that. All right.
Preach,
So
Jessica.
I'm absolutely, pro work for free if it resonates with you. And another thing is, if you see somebody grinding and pushing for their project, yes, rock with them. However, if you join a project and they're riding your coattail, that might be a problem. Like, if they say, hey, I'm working on this project, I'm putting up the quotation marks again, collaborate with you. Are you down for this project? And you say, yeah. And then they start asking questions like, well, what kind of gear can you bring to the table? Well, can you ask your friends if they can help too?
Oh my God.
Well, I don't really have the money for that. So I can't really pay you there or help you with that. But I heard you got some people you think that, and then the student thing, like she just said, you got any student friends that got some gear that they can use on this project too? It's like, bruh, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing? I might as well do this project myself. You just here. And so that's why Dominique made a good point that you should pick and choose who you provide your services to. Ask yourself this question. Is this going to benefit me or help me grow? Or am I going to gain anything from this project? If the answer is no, I'm just trying to help somebody out, then you need to evacuate the building you need because this project is not for you. And another piece of advice is, or another thing that you can ask yourself, when you're with a crew of people that you guys are working on a project, ask yourself, am I the best person in this room? If the answer to the question is yes, I'm the best person in this room.
That's a problem.
That means you need to find yourself another room.
Yes.
That is because you've hit the ceiling. You've hit the ceiling of that project. You've hit the ceiling of that crew. If you're the best, you're not learning. You need to be the underdog of that group. You need to be the one that's like, when you're surrounded by people, the thought that if you're thinking like, oh, I need to get on my shit. Oh, man, these people, I need to get my shit. Then you're in the right room. You're perfect. If you look like a piece of shit around the rest of these people, then you are in the right. You stay right where you are, and you keep working, and you keep hustling and grinding and being hungry and letting these people know that you are ready to work and you're ready to learn. So, yes, work for free. Yes. I say all that to say this. Just make sure you're in the right room when you're working for free, baby. Because, woo, they out here.
She took us to church. Right, that is my problem. Like, that is my problem. That is my problem. You don't know how many people come up to me, yo, you know any students? I'm like, nah, I was never either. Or, yo, can you do this? Can you do that? Like, I literally just got done off of a project. And I was helping this person from left to right to right to left to here to there. My friend had to stop me and said, yo, are you about to get director's credit? And I said, excuse me? She was like, are you about to get director's credit? I said, I don't think, let me go ask. I asked, they told me no. She was like, you don't offer no more of your services. Because right now you are doing stuff. Not only are we doing stuff for free, but you are over here doing the whole project, and then you're not going to get the credit. So she was like, you don't need to be doing that. And that is such the struggle, like where we live right now. Like, and I hate to say it like that. Everybody's working off of passion projects. And you have got to be careful about the people that you run across. And then where we're at right now is so small. So it's like, if you sneeze wrong on this project, your name could get spread like them germs up in the room. So you have got to be careful who you say yes to and who you say no to. Sometimes a no is just a flat out no. Can you do it? And then you listen to it and you hear how everything sounds. No. And for branding yourself, you need to be careful about what you take on and what you do. If you know that something is not your brand, you don't need to be doing it. I just hate to say it like that. It is what it is. I'm into comedy, I'm into satires, and I love anything that's African American or ethics based, right? And I love just pushing the racial envelope and getting other people to understand stuff. I am not about to do something with this person that is opposing to everything I just said. It may even look good. It may even have the budget that it's asking me to do. It may even pay well. But you got to ask yourself, does this add to my brand? That's another thing in this industry. You got to ask yourself how much you're willing to sell out to. Because you can jump on set and do some work for somebody and you'll be selling out to yourself. So you got to be very careful what you do, especially like, I know you're in the arts and everything, and so many times, because I used to, when I first started school, I did art education and I did acting. I had to stop doing that because I would get this all the time. Can you do my tattoo? Can you draw this for me? I'll give you $50. Y'all don't even see the face I'm making right now. Because sometimes some tattoos, especially for my creative people, they be asking you to do, I want a whole sleeve, I want my mama and my brother's face, and I want my dog's face, and I want this and that and that.
Can we talk about that, though?
And then they be like, I'm going to give you $50.
Oh, no.
But check it. Another thing, though.
That's $200.
I spoke with this one director of photography that made this really good point, that when you accept a job or a tattoo sleeve for $50, you are hurting the rest of the market. You're hurting your fellow tattoo artists. You're hurting your fellow artists because you're undercutting them and you're decreasing the entire market as a whole. So if you do it for $50 and then somebody else says, yeah, this will cost about $500 to do, they're going to be like, oh, hold on, well, so-and-so did it for $50, and now that person feels obligated to lower their price because you lowered your price. So now nobody winning because everybody got to lower their price, all because you thought it was a good idea to do a tattoo for $50. So just also think about the market as a whole. You have to you have to maintain your standards, and you have to always remember what your worth and your value is. Because like you said, you will essentially be selling yourself out, and you will be known as the person that does tattoos for $50. So now you're mad because you're getting $50 clients coming your way, and now you got the boo-boo face on, like, well, why everybody think I do this for $50? Like, that was just one time. Like, nah, G, you're notorious for that now. So same, but my favorite is filmmakers that do trap videos.
Yo, where's the window? I need open up that window right now. Open it up, please, because I'm about to kill myself. Would you like to get into this, or do you want me to do it?
I feel like you should do it, Dominique. I feel like you feel something in your soul.
That's so horrible. Don't do it. Because then when people do trap videos, they come to people like me and say, yo, man, they get in your inbox, yo, man, I heard you do videos. Do they
sound like that?
Yes, they do. When I gotta read you, man, and I'm not even trying to be arrogant, because I have a friend that I knew in high school, and he is doing excellent off of his trap music videos. But mind you, too, half the time he don't know what he's doing, but it works for him. But because that works for him don't mean it worked for me, right? So here's the people in my inbox. Yo, man, I got this video. You mind doing this boo-bop-a-loot-lot video for me? Because that's how I feel like they give me the titles, they give me their music, as if I'm sitting over here banging this in my car, and I gotta listen to it, and they're like, can you do this video for me? And then I tell them, this isn't particularly my thing. I mainly do this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, can you do this video? They just completely discard what I said. Can you do this video for me? I give you $150 or $300. The moment of silence is here. I'll give you $150 or $300. Not only do I have to show up and shoot your I have to shoot it. I gotta watch you go gang, 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 and put $3 to your ear the whole time.
$3?
Because ain't nobody got no. Obviously, you ain't got no money if you offering me $150 to $300 and you want like this old Janet-esque kind of video that you ain't about to get from me. Not only that, but then I have to turn around and edit. You want some form of graphics. Then there's always some Chicago footworker somewhere in the video, and I'm trying to stop and get them and all the emotions. I don't do music videos. I might do a song video. I might do a rap person that has a budget video. I might even join on for somebody that's in the industry that's finessing college students to do their video for free. But I don't do your Facebookers that come in and say, can you do my video? I just don't. And let's put that out there now. My name is Domonate. So if you're on my Facebook and you ever ask me to do it, refer to this podcast. Jessica, how do you feel?
I mean, my whole thing is, I get the appeal to it because they come a dime a dozen. So if you got a ton of people with $150 in their hand waving it in front of you, you probably do the math in your head real quick, like, all right, well, if I do like 6 of them in 1 week, which is a terrible idea in itself, but I completely I get it. Like, when you're trying to search for clients and they're hard to find, just resort to a trap video because they here all day, every day. But at the same time, like you said, that's essentially your brand. When it comes to, hey, let me see your work, and you have nothing in your reel but trap videos, guess who's gonna come knocking at your door? Can you cuss in this podcast?
Yeah,
trap
please.
Niggas is finna be rock row center ready for you. Do one just like you did, old dude. Like, I want one just like that. And so you have nobody to blame but yourself when you constantly put yourself in this sort of bubble and limit yourself by doing these. Like, now, if you like trap and that's your stilo, run with it. Like, run with it. But if you're already in the creative field, like, you already at, like, doing a gamble. But it's like, don't creatively do something you hate. Like, what? That's not how that's gonna end well.
And let me tell you, ain't nothing more frightening than doing a trap video and then you pointing a gun in somebody's face talking about gang bang, gang, 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 and then you sitting up there as the camera person like dodging and moving because you don't like people crazy.
Man, and you looking hot as hell in the videos. All them dudes with their shorts off, their shirts off, bouncing around in the hallway. Like, it look hot. Like, y'all looks, woof.
It is the worst. And y'all have no creativity. Y'all put $3 to y'all ear. Y'all borrow y'all grandfather's old vet gun. And y'all sit up there and y'all do all that. And then your lyrics, half of y'all can't even mouth your own lyrics. And it's the worst. Like, I go back and I have to tell somebody, hey, do you know your lyrics? That is a problem. So,
Do you ever have anybody ask you for album covers?
I did, actually, a couple of times. One of them just kind of fell through. The other one, I think, it was more like a song, like, illustrate. You know how SoundCloud people, like, get illustrators and stuff like that? I did one. I don't know if he used it. I got paid for it. Like, I had to redraw it twice. Important. So I was just like, yeah, it's $10 extra, yo. Because I had to redraw a whole picture.
See, you gotta be careful with your prices.
Yeah, I know. But, like, I'm a nobody at the same time. So, like, it's what you said kind of, like, was a big shot at me a little bit.
Dang.
But,
undercutting people?
No, yeah, because I don't, I see it, like, two different sides, kind of like, I don't have a name yet. So, like, I kind of, like, I have to do the free stuff or, like, kind of do cheaper stuff and then kind of steadily grow to the fact. So, like, it's, like, weird for me.
Am I humble? Well, I looked at your work, so, you got some top-notch work. So, you can charge, like...
Yeah.
So, I would say do one or the other. Like, do free or charge what you really think you're worth. I wouldn't say do the I got you for $50. Because if you do it for free, that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it for cheap. It means you're doing it because it resonates with you or you have a reason for doing it.
Yep.
And it doesn't take away from your integrity at all.
Yep.
If you do it, for the price that you're worth and you're, from like I said, from what I've seen, you got the glow, then you're still doing your thing, you're getting what you deserve. But when you do the undercut, like, then if I hear what you charge and you like, I'll be like, oh man, maybe she could do some art for the low, for the $25. She can do my. See, I tried to put that plug in. You shut me down. Hold on, man. You said 25.
You need some gas.
But these though 25.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Dang. Because I'm telling you now, like, A lot of people, I try to keep it very low that I can draw. Every once in a while, you will catch a glimpse that you saw. I even, on my Instagram, I took off all my art stuff. Because I had people, can you draw me something? Can you draw me something? Can you draw me something? And I hate drawing on demand, which is why I stopped doing it as an education standpoint. Because I was like, I will never get a job. Because people will be like, yo, you had that deadline. I'm like, when my soul tells me to, I will draw it. That ain't going to pay my bills. I hate... We took art classes together. You saw how long it would take me to do my projects. I hate drawing on demand. If you ask me to do something and I'm not passionate about whatever it is that you're asking me to do, I won't do it. But if I feel passionate to do it, I will do it, and I will go above, beyond, and some extra. So I can't do art as a job. It has to be a luxury for me. Which is why I always wanted to tell like anybody that's in that realm, charge them people. Because they're going to pay somebody else to do what you do, and they're going to pay them because they're going to step to them. There's a little trick of the wise. Okay, so I was interning with this dude, sidebar, side story. I was interning with this dude, and he said, yo, I want to do frat videos because they make a lot of money, so I want to do sorority and all that other stuff. I said, cool, you ever shot a video before? No. But I just got booked to do one, so I'm going to charge them the amount that it costs to do this with this drone or whatever. And he was like, and I'm going to basically have them pay for the drone. I said, do you know how to operate a drone? My buddy has one, and I'm going to sit with him this weekend, and I'm going to learn. This man did the video, had them pay basically for the drone, and like $300 over for his services, and he goes around doing stuff like that. The drone was like almost close to like $3,000. But they don't know that because he came up in there talking a big, very good game. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in how you sell yourself. Because finessing works. It really, really does. You don't know how many people will jump on set. Like, for instance, I just worked with somebody. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I got all these people. Not only was this person relying on resources, but they didn't know what they were doing. They were literally relying on the people around them. But they talked a good game that made all these people want to work with that person. So you can't sell yourself short. You really can't. So I agree with Jessica. You either need to do it for free, and you need to be passionate about it, and you need to be confident to add it to your resume, because you don't ever explain price of what you did unless somebody says, as a producer, what is the biggest budget you ever worked with? Or as a director, what's the biggest budget you ever worked with? And how and what did you do? So you got to be careful with that. You really, really do. I ain't got nothing else to preach on.
What's your robe?
With my robe, I get together with that. So some of these things are just common sense, as you guys can see. And I'm glad a lot of these points were brought up, because there are people that are going through this right now. It doesn't matter what degree point you're in. I have a cousin right now. She wants to study law, and she's a secretary right now at a law firm. That has nothing to do really with what she's trying to do. Everybody's kind of stuck right now, and I'm not understanding where this rift is coming from, which caused me to want to do this podcast and to hear from other people and see possibly what we could do to help to encourage people to get over the hurdle. And that includes finding a job. Let me tell y'all something. For all you people in the fine arts, for all you people that got a degree and don't have your job, including myself, if you really want, aka a job, and you want to be a worker and you do not want to open your own company and you want to go work for somebody, you need to hit up these schools that sat up there and just got us in that debt. Okay? Y'all need, hey, you can laugh all you want to. Y'all need to be going to these career advisors, because that's essentially a part of the portion of what we pay for. And I promise you, you need to harass them with an email. You need to be up in there with a bonnet, some slippers, a robe on, and be like, hey, I still am not working. I'm not working at all. These loans ain't stopping. Help me, help you, help us, and help you pay this debt off. I need a job. Help me figure out something. Give me a job at the school to do what I'm doing right now. You need to be on that level, and you need to be doing that. So that's where I'm going to close off with this podcast. If you don't have a job, hit up these schools, really. And if that's not the case, you need to work off of basically your resources, who you know, what you know, and how to get you far. Or you just need to be working on your art. Thank you, guys. This is my unbiased part of the podcast, where I've joined in a couple of others. We have Jessica, Viamber, and Asia. Jessica with Mad Panda Lab, and Viamber and Asia with Good Luck Gamers. And what is the name of your
Project Connoisseur.
Domonate Podcast, y'all. Thank y'all. And we out.